Levi and his scouts have a brutal battle with Kenny and his mercenaries, and Historia's father gains some weight. Greetings, my fellow scouts. It's time for another review of the Attack on Titan anime series. Today I'm going to be talking about two episodes, episode 44 and episode 45. Both episodes go hand in hand, and they're both equally awesome in so many different ways. Episode 44, for the most part, is just a giant, amazing action scene. Levi and his scouts going up against Kenny and his mercenaries is honestly some of the best action that I've ever seen from the entire show. Is it the most polished? No, but it still manages to be something new and unique for the series. For the most part, we're always watching the humans fight against the Titans. Rarely is it a one-on-one battle with another human, and this episode proved that the concept itself is really fun and can also lead to some of the coolest action sequences that I've actually seen, especially getting to see how all of these characters actually work together and team up. Like Sasha being able to pick off people from the shadows with her arrows, as well as creating a lot of explosives and smoke, with Connie going in and doing a lot of the cleaning up, Mikasa doing what she does best, which is absolutely just going berserker mode on everyone. There's a sequence where she's just swinging around all of these crystalline caverns while taking out people from multiple angles, and it's just a thing of absolute beauty. Even Levi's battle with Kenny, while very short, was incredibly satisfying, and it doesn't necessarily have a definitive end, but Levi won this fight hands down. I especially loved all of the amazing tricks that he came up with. One in particular where he actually throws this bag of oil at Kenny, who shoots it, and it explodes right in front of his face, and then Levi just explodes through the fire to cut through his attack and even slice him up just a little bit. Basically what I'm trying to say is the opening sequence of episode 44 is just freaking awesome and incredibly thrilling. The second half of the episode is where things start to slow down but get incredibly dramatic and in the best way possible. We also finally get to learn what Rod's entire plan is, which honestly I can't believe I didn't even think about it, but he's planning to actually transform Historia into a Titan so that she can consume Eren and take all of his powers away. And basically it's at this point that you realize, yeah, Historia's father is kind of a dick. He doesn't really love his daughter, he's essentially just using her for his very own goals. And a lot of that is tied to the fact that Historia's family is sort of forced to follow the creed and code of the original king himself. If they inherit this power, they're basically mind-washed into making it so they still allow the Titans to live, and so that they can still have kind of a tight grip on humanity itself. It's tough because they actually have the power to change everything, but they can only obtain that power, apparently, if they're from Historia's family. The next episode starts to get into how that's actually probably not really a thing in the first place, and it just shows that there are corrupt people who simply just want to take over the world. So, the episode right here pretty much ends with Historia deciding that no, she's not going to eat Eren, she's going to be her very own person. She's not necessarily going to be doing it to save humanity. In fact, she even boldly declares that she is going to be humanity's enemy, which I think is actually really clever, and a great juxtaposition to her typical characterization, which is mostly just standing around and looking super cute and adorable. But what I love here is that when the actual, like, vial of Titan juice just, like, falls on the floor, it was in a syringe and it just, you know, goes all over the place. Rod actually walks over to it and he just licks it and immediately starts to transform into a Titan right there. And it made me think, why do they even need to inject this stuff if all they have to do is ingest it in their bodies? Why give yourself a freaking shot when you can just take it like a shot? Also, it was like damn near instantaneous when Rod actually like touched the liquid to his tongue. He just immediately started to transform into a Titan, where you actually saw the spinal cord sort of like exploding into the air, all of the bright heat and fire just erupting from all over the place. It was a pretty great way to end that episode, and that brings us to episode 45, which was also pretty impressive with a lot of the visuals that it was giving us, and it also gave us a really nice twist. So not only is Rod transforming into a Titan, but he's transforming into the biggest Titan that we have ever seen in the series. Yes, even bigger than the Colossal Titan. However, it's so incredibly massive that it actually cannot stand up. What happens is he gets so big that basically everything around them starts to get destroyed, and Eren is forced to transform into his Titan form and utilize his brand new abilities to use that hardening to keep the freaking rocks from crushing all of them. But Rod manages to climb his way out of this massive cavern and starts making his way across the plains, and he basically just looks like this giant humanoid with a caterpillar body that is on fire, and his face is completely buried into the ground as he's sort of slowly crawling like a zombie. And just the overall image of seeing this thing at night with all of the fire and smoke coming from its back is honestly just such a haunting image. It's so disturbing that he would go this far, and it looks like he's going to be heading for the walls and causing all sorts of damage. But again, one of the biggest important things about the scene is that Eren is finally back to freaking normal after accepting that maybe it is a good thing if he gets eaten. Maybe it would be the best thing for the world. It's his friends who actually manages to snap him out of this crazy situation, and the scene where he actually uses all of the crystals to stop all the rocks and debris from falling on them was pretty freaking awesome. It sort of like sprouted from him, almost kind of like watching ice like melt, or almost like spider webs. It looked really great, and even the last thing that was left was actually just a fully crystallized version of his Titan form, which again, as far as imagery goes for this episode, that combined with Rod crawling across the landscape at night, those images just freaking make this one right here. I really loved it. So the episode ends with all the characters finally escaping, including Kenny and his group. I don't know if they all made it out of here yet. I'm sure we're going to be seeing them again. But Levi and their group now have Historia, and they actually want her to be the brand new queen. Now, this is an interesting prospect, as before she was constantly told what to do, she was placed in roles and positions. She didn't have any free will, and here it almost seems like something like that is being imposed on her. But she still manages to actually take this role herself, knowing that this is her opportunity to make a difference in this world, and she even still wants to be a soldier and a part of this group as well, which I think is incredibly awesome. It's amazing how much characterization Historia has actually got since the last season, considering she was almost completely absent in the very first season of the show. It almost seems like the creator of the series didn't quite know what he wanted to do with her yet, but they also still wanted to introduce the craziness of the world before they start springing all of this backstory on us, which is all about the founding Titan and its ability to control people and erase their minds and basically take control of history itself. It's pretty freaking epic. So what's the rundown on both of these episodes right here? These were pretty damn awesome, and probably my favorite episodes of the entire season. Episode 44 in particular, it's hard not to like that one, just because of how incredible the actual action is itself. And like I said, it's unique. It's watching these humans fight against other humans, and it's just so damn cool to see. The Mikasa scene was probably my favorite moment from that entire episode, but a close second has to see Rod's transformation at the very end. The visuals there just really sold that scene. Every time there's a cool transformation like that, this series just always manages to sell it in the best way possible. The episode itself was also just so horrifying because Eren knows exactly what's going to happen, and he can't say anything to Historia. He can only scream because he's got basically a fucking ball gag into his mouth, and I love that Historia eventually realized that, yeah, this is all kind of fucking insane, and I don't want anything to do with this at all. But I love that she still decided that she's going to be her own person and do things her way. She's not going to be subject or ruled by any other person, and I think that's pretty awesome for her character. She truly has come such a long way, and she might as well be a completely new character the way that she's actually acting. So I hope to see more from her in the future and the other characters as well as they prepare to take down this big, giant version of Rod, which I can't wait to see what their plan is actually going to be. Originally, they wanted everybody to just evacuate from the city, but Erwin has a crazy plan, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be to take this thing down. I wonder if this is going to be like the end of this first major arc right here, if there's going to be another twist, or we're eventually going to see the return of the giant, like, hairy, ape-like Titan. I mean, there's still so many things that are unknown about this series. I'm also interested to see how Kenny Ackerman is going to play into all of this. Just, both of these episodes right here just truly rocked, guys. I'm giving both of them a 5 out of 5. I'd love to get your thoughts on them. You can tell me all of that in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of the third season of Attack on Titan. Let's get a discussion going, guys. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.